I'm good to go, Darshan. Are we waiting?
Yeah, we'll wait for 2-3 minutes more. I think there are people still joining in. We have around
Okay.
25 people who have joined so far.
Okay.
Wait for the number to cross 50, and I think we can start in another
Sure.
2 minutes.
Sure.
I think we have just about 50 people joining us on YouTube. So I think we can start with the session. And those who ever missed the initial leg, any which ways the video is going to be live or put up on YouTube after the live session is over. So I think let's start. Good morning, members. Sunday morning, we are here with another round of a Technofunda discussion. And this time we'll be talking about the sector which has shined the brightest in the last 1 month. The index rose around 11% in the last entire week, led by the rally in steel. Frontline leaders, Tata Steel, moved more than 10% in the last entire week, posted phenomenal set of numbers. Uh, this is backed by 2-3 fundamental reasons. We will dwell upon the same as we move ahead with the discussion. Archit will be taking us through with the technical setups and how it's building. We will start with the commodity index. We will move on to individual base metals while we cover the individual stocks relating to the base metals. Keval is with us. He's a chartered accountant by qualifications, uh, an expert in his understanding of fundamentals. Personally, we've been invested in metals for almost about a month now. We've enjoyed a very sweet rally. Just how sugar as a sector moved, I think steel as a sector has exploded. And that is how commodity cycles and commodity stocks in general move when the cycle turns up. This is probably the seventh cycle in the last 200 years that we are experiencing, and it's just the first year. A lot of people are under the impression that और कितना ऊपर बढ़ेगा. The reason to have this kind of a discussion or the metal talk, as we are calling this as the episode, is to give an insight that when things like these develop, it is not a temporary thing, or it's not a temporary euphoria or a temporary move. It is generally a multi-year cycle, and the moves last. Just like how people suddenly, when the Nifty crossed 13,000 mark, became conservative and thought that abhi aur isse upar kitna jayega. We experienced new highs. We experienced the benchmark index crossing 50,000 on the Sensex, 15,000 on Nifty, and we are going to see something very, very similar when it comes to metal as a sector. And those who have missed out, this video is specifically for you all. You will get some insights as to when you should enter the particular stocks and the particular base metals. Just a standard disclaimer, these are our views, which are subject to market validation, and market may not validate it as we expect it to play out. So take it with a pinch of salt, do your own due diligence. We are just going to discuss our insights on the sector, on the different stocks, on the base metals, and why we in particular are bullish, and whether we are cautious at this point in time. So as we move into the discussion, you will get some insights on all the questions that you are having. Meanwhile, whatever questions you all have, you all can please put it on the chat box on YouTube. The questions will be accessible by us, and we will address it as and when we move into the session. So one of the main reasons why metals surged the last entire week is because China is shutting down a lot of its factories on the pollution concerns. That brings India in a bright spot because after China, I think India is probably the next best alternative. And we've seen steel as a sector doing phenomenally well since the entire last month. That is in particular because LME, the international global prices of steels have surged. Iron ore has surged. Coal has surged. And we've seen integrated companies like Tata Steel, which owns iron ore mines, which owns coal mines, have surged in the last good 1 month. And given multi-year breakouts touched life highs, and we are still trading strong. So one of the main reasons, fundamentally, in my limited knowledge and understanding, is China's production is affecting the supply. As the production goes down, because the plants will slowly shrink or reduce in their operations, India will have to have increased capacities to meet the global demand. And as the global economies are slowly turning and opening up, there is a lot of demand for metals because the consumption story will now begin to play out. And for that, there's going to be a lot of production required, which will require a lot of metals to contribute. We are also in a revolutionary phase wherein across the globe, we are seeing the electrical vehicles started picking up, and that requires industrial use of a lot of metals. So these are 2-3 reasons the surrounding why the metal as an index or why metals as commodities have surged in the last good 1 month. And all of it is on the back of demand and supply. It's a basic economic theory of demand and supply. As the demand increases and if the supply doesn't meet the demand, the prices are bound to go up. And as the prices go up, we are going to see the operational margins of these commodity producers, steel producers, giants, are going to increase as the prices increase. So there's no rocket science into why the prices have gone up. As far as valuations is concerned, I am not particularly much worried about the valuations, although we've rose on the index 11% inside a week, almost 130-40% over the last 1 year. But this is now the time where the demand is coming up, the global economies are opening up, and there is an element of added advantage with the pollution concerns for China that India is going to be in a sweet spot. And that is why we are seeing integrated companies in particular who are owning iron ore mines or owning coal mines. They are at the front end of the rally. Now we've seen Nifty as an index surge and come to the upper end of the range. There's a big trading range which is being developed, 14,200 to 14,900, broadly a 700 point range in the last good 1.5 months. So big consolidation at a not the top, but I think at levels, I think Fibonacci was also respected very well by index. So I think it's a good consolidation near a resistance, which makes me believe that if we close well, one weekly close, and we are going to be on our way to newer highs on the index, and metals in particular are going to be at the front end of the rally, just as how they have been in the last 1 month. One of the main reasons why Nifty is trading where it is right now is because of the phenomenal rally that metals has had, and that is the contributory factor. So now we will move on to the technical aspects. I think Keval will have some more points to add here. We can take Keval's comments and we can start with the session. We will be discussing the market insight report, which was released on 6th May by Archit, and how metals have played out in the last 2 days and how we expect it to trade in the next coming few sessions, few weeks, few months. So Keval, I would request you to give your valuable insight, please.
Hello, Darshan. Hello to all the viewers. Thank you for having this educational session on Sunday morning. Just to add a small and a quick point to what Darshan mentioned, the commodity index has not been surging for the past 3 months, but it has been surging for the last 12 months now. And we need to keep in mind various factors as a reason of which we have seen the surge in the commodity index. But before we delve into the finer points, I believe it will make more sense once we talk in perspective with a few stocks by giving some examples for the same. So I think once Archit takes over the podium in order to explain his thesis, technically I can chip in with a few points pertaining to the logic or the fundamental reasons as to why such things have happened over the past 12 months. Archit, do you want to take it ahead?
Yes, sure. Good morning, everyone. Um, so anybody who has been tracking the market like since the past 2-3 months, the the sector which has been like displaying the most strength is metals. These sector specific stocks of metals have given like a big return over the past few months. So anyone who has missed this rally or who are already invested, we have made this session to track the values, like whether metals still have the strength, which stocks we have to look to buy, what are the particular support and the resistance levels, and all these concepts we are going to cover. All these levels we are going to discuss. We are going to discuss the major um, indexes like copper, aluminium, etc. So this was the market insight report that I shared to my premium clients on 6th May. So as you can see, I was analyzing the daily chart of metals, and as you can see, it was in a good consolidation zone, and it had broken out on the 6th of May. It had broken out from a ascending triangle breakout, and Tata Steel this with the Tata Steel posting some good results, it was expected that the metal stocks are going to follow the Tata Steel result update, and it will surge. So by confirming on the daily chart of Nifty Metal, I think so it was a good clue that the Nifty Metals would be in momentum in the next few stocks. So this was confirmed by the daily chart of Nifty Metals. After that, I took the RRG chart. RRG chart is a relative rotational graph. So this RRG chart usually gauges the strength of the sector against the Nifty. So as you can see, the metals was in a leading sector. After that, usually what happens is the sector usually moves through a period of 4 quadrants. That is, the first quadrant is leading, second is weakening, third is lagging, fourth is improving. The most moment, the sector which has the most momentum and the strength usually doesn't follow the 4 quadrant. It will move from leading to weakening, and then again it will go to the leading part. So this is the sign. This was the chart of Nifty Metal on the 6th of May. It went from leading, it went till weakening, and it then again turned back to the leading section. So this was another sign that the Nifty metals were gaining in strength and the momentum is back. And then we looked at the various individual stocks, and you can see most of the stocks like JSW Steel was forming a rectangular pattern, and it usually moves up, forms into a period of consolidation, and again moves up. So all these stocks we are going to cover. Apart from that, let's start the session. So the first index that I'm going to check is the Bloomberg Commodity Index. And look at the monthly chart of Bloomberg Commodity Index. So as you can see, it is breaking out from a consolidation of 5 years. It has already broken out on a monthly chart. So definitely the commodity will be in the momentum in the next few months or the next few years. The cycle has just begun. The important levels over here on the commodity index is it has a support. It has a good support of 90, whereas the resistance levels of the commodity index is 100 levels. So these are the two important levels you have to look for. When it reaches the 100 level, there might be some correction. It might come to retest the support, the resistance, like the breakout level of this thing. And once it reaches this thing, if you are not invested in metals, you could look to buy stocks or index specific stocks once the index comes near the 90 level. So this is the Bloomberg Commodity Index. It is made up of various commodities. The only beautiful thing about this index is that no sector has a extra weightage. Every sector has an equal weightage, so it gives us a good overview of how the commodity index are or how the commodities are going to play in the next few months or so. Covering that, we'll go to the CNX metals chart. As you can see already, Nifty metals has already broken its all-time high, and the strength is like you can see the strength by seeing the big bullish engulfing candle or the Mozu candle. So it is quite evident on the monthly chart. It is broken out and it would be in momentum. Although it has a good support, level of 4,250. If it corrects and the index comes near the 4,250 level, it is you should look to buy the metal stocks. But it seems unlikely that it will reverse now. But let's look at the daily chart then. So as you can see, it is in a serious uptrend. The Nifty Metal Index is in a serious uptrend. How do I define it as in an uptrend? An uptrend is usually defined by a series of higher high and higher lows. So as you can see, it is moving up in a systematic manner. It goes up, corrects, it goes up, correct. Here it went up, it correct, and it is again it has broken new highs. So considering this thing, we'll draw the support for the Nifty CNX Nifty on a daily chart. So this is a gap formation as well. The gap formation was formed because of the Tata Steel results as Tata Steel has posted some great results. So this particular level of 5,100 will act as a support. This will be a gap support. So the trend is up. The monthly, weekly, all it is looking good. It is on the daily chart. It is not looking like it is extended. I think so. There would be momentum in the next week as well, in the coming week as well. But you have to be stock specific instead of index specific. The only level you have to keep in mind for the index is this particular level of 5,100 level to 5,175 level. These two particular levels. If it reverses and comes to retest the breakout area, this particular level is looking good to add. Like it will reverse from these particular levels. After that, once we have covered the Nifty metal, we'll look at the copper stock. Copper. The first and the foremost thing is to check the trend, and as you can see, copper is moving in the. Even this has crossed its all-time high. Basic concepts like support towards resistance you have to keep in mind, and it is moving very systematically, and it broke the resistance of the 750 mark by applying the Fibonacci extension levels. You can see the target of Tata Copper is around 845 level on a weekly chart. So you can see how much far it can go. The copper, especially I am too bullish on copper because it is showing too much strength. Whereas it has a small resistance at 792 is I think the 790 level. So any retest to the levels of 775, it looks good. As you can see, it was in a serious consolidation for the, I think so it was around a week, I guess. It was in a rectangular consolidation, and this is a cup and a handle pattern as well. It is slightly shifted towards the right side, but it is looking good. So any retest to the level of 770, 775 is a buy on copper if anyone deals in the MCX. But as a overview, copper is looking good. Second. After covering copper, we move to aluminium. Here the story is same. It has broken out on it is at its all-time high. We'll look at the daily chart. There is a doji kind of a formation which indicates there is uncertainty. But as you can see, that it is a bit extended. So we'll look on the smaller time frame, and it gapped up. It filled the gap, which acted as a support. So I guess aluminium has retraced, and it is forming a pennant kind of structure. or a flag kind of structure. So it will break out in the coming days. But the important levels for aluminium is that 199 is a good support. It is a minor support, whereas there is a good support at the 196 mark. So even aluminium is looking good. These two levels are important of 200. I think so 200 on the shorter time frame and 195.96 on a larger time frame. So even aluminium is looking good. Darshan, any other index that we are good to cover? Can you please tell me?
We can look at zinc and we can look at silver, I think. Given how the EV theme is being built up, I think these are the two metal stocks, metals in general, base metals, which will
So currently zinc
Also gold weekly, if you could see.
definitely. So as you can see, zinc hasn't broken out till now, but it is on a verge of a breakout. And I think so if there are some index the stock specific of zinc, I think so zinc, Hindustan Zinc is one of the stock, right?
correct.
Correct. So it is forming a cup and a handle pattern on a weekly chart, and it looks ripe for a breakout. You can see this is a cup. This is one contraction. There was a strong rejection from the resistance zone. It formed another contraction, and it is looking good for a breakout. So the breakout level is around 241 levels on a weekly chart. Once it crosses that 241 level, I guess the target of zinc should be like it would be huge, but the time frame is monthly, so you can see a target of around 98 points from the breakout point. So it is around 330, 340 levels. So zinc is looking good. The next one you told was silver. So considering the weekly chart of silver as well, it went up from 35,000 till 76,000. Now it is consolidating in a good range. This is a ascending triangle formation. It is consolidating, and once this consolidation, I think so, it has to close above the 74,000 mark. Once it closes above the 74,000 mark, then we can see a rally. But right now it is consolidating. Wait for it to close about the 74,000 mark, and if it does, you can see a rally. This is a very I think so 17,000 rally. So the first target would be 8,500, something like. So it would be around 80,000. So even silver is looking good, but I think so it will take some time for silver to break out. There should be one more contraction, because this is the first contraction. The second one is a larger contraction, as you can see. So I am expecting another contraction of a shorter retracement, something like this. And once this a VCP is completed, it has tested a lot of buyers or investors, and then it will break out. Last one is gold. I think so. I have to. So as you can see, gold futures on the weekly chart, it has always respected this particular level, this particular line. I mark that line just a second. Yeah. So it has never closed below this purple line. That is the 100-day moving average. So it was expected that it will take support at these particular levels, that is 45,000 levels, that is a 43,000 or 44,000 levels. It has reversed to its mean and right now consolidating. But it won't be in momentum, I guess. It has a very good resistance of 49,000 level. So it will take some time for gold as well. It has retraced, like it has reversed from its trend of downtrend on a weekly chart. It will either go into a period of consolidation or it will go into an uptrend, but I guess it should retest 45,000 level once again, and once it retests, it checks the the strength of the buyers, then it will again move up. But the important levels over here of gold is this particular level, because I think so the level is around 49,000. So once it closes on a weekly chart on a 49,000 basis, I am expecting it to move. Then I am expecting it to move around 56,000 and ultimately to new highs. But on a shorter time frame, any dip to 45,000 is a buy, and if it comes near the 44,000 base, it is the like a boon. Like you should look to buy gold. Anyone has to like chip in?
Archit, could you come again on the last one sentence?
Okay, so what happens is whenever downtrend is like has ended, it has broken out from the downtrend, the stock or the commodity or any index chart usually moves into an uptrend or either into a sideways trend. So as we can see, gold retraced to its mean value of near the 100 EMA mark. It has broken out. So there are two important levels for this particular stock, this particular index. So one is the 45,000 mark and one is the 50,000 mark. So considering the equity are doing good, I am expecting gold to again like check the strength of the buyers. It should come near 45,000 mark, and then again it will look to go up. So the two important levels for gold in my view is it should come near 45,000 mark. It should test test the strength of the buyers. It would usually once usually a stock breaks out, it retests to the breakout area and then again moves up. So the 50,000 mark is a very tricky level. It will find some difficulty, and as you can see, it is finding some difficulty. You can see over here there is a spinning top kind of a formation which tells us the buyers are not strong yet. So once it crosses the 50,000 mark, then and only then I am expecting the 56,000 mark. The other way to look around is any dip to 45,000 level is a buy on the gold futures. I guess I'm like
Yes,
you have
just to add a few this metal rally.
yeah.
Most of this has been led by supply side constraints. Just to sum it up quickly, China has continuously focused on production ban because of pollution issues that's happening in China. As a result of which, a lot of aluminium factories have gone down in China. That is one. Two, Australia and China, which were supposed to be in discussions to resume business when it comes to metals, is under consideration. It is more of a situation like a Cold War over here. Australia being the largest producer of aluminium components and China being one of the biggest users of aluminium components are in a very Cold War like situation at the moment, as a result of which there is again a supply side constraint for China over here, because they will not be importing aluminium or components from Australia. Another reason why India could chip in over here and could send its exports to China. Third, on the copper front, Chile, which is the largest producer of copper or has the largest copper reserves, has imposed a copper tax. Not to name it as copper tax, but they have come in with an idea of taxing copper production, which is twice of any other country. That is nearly 80%. If this does translate into reality, a lot of copper production will be halted in Chile. As a result of which, we are again seeing a copper supply constraint coming in from Chile. Since we have multiple supply constraints that are coming in from these countries, there's a possibility that we could see another price hike that is going to come in all these base metals. But just to put out a caveat over here, and I need Archit's support on this, my memory tells me that between 2003 and 2008, despite a phenomenal metal rally, there have been instances of 30 to 40% corrections in specific stocks in the course of the rally. If Archit can help me with a chart on the same in order to understand the current situation better, and is there a probability of something on these lines happening in the near future or in the larger future? But if we can see that on a historical chart and try to correlate
on a individual stock basis or some index?
Individual stock basis, because I believe Nifty Metal came only in 2012, so we will not have data prior.
Okay. Sure. So you're talking about look at the weekly chart only. Talking out about the period of, I think so, this 2008 to 2007.
Between 2003 and 2008, where we had a phenomenal bull market in metals, but within the bull market, we saw multiple corrections.
Sure. I look at the BSE chart of Just like JSW Steel. I think so. This has been from 2003 onwards. The J. Okay. I think so. The data is not correct over here. There is some gap in the data, so I don't think so. We can analyze it. I'll try with the Tata Steel. Data is missing. Okay, yeah, sure. So we'll analyze it from Tata Steel has been listed from this thing from 1995 onwards. So this was the first sign. I think so. The first sign was around 2003 levels. It had broken out at 89 levels, and then it went in for a constant rally of about 200%. From 89 it went to 258 or 260, I think so. So after that, it usually what happens is like the stock breakouts, there is a hype over around the corner, there is news around the corner, but it usually comes to the mean value. That is it is called as a reversion to the mean value. So this is what had happened in like the end of the 2003 till 2004, where it corrected from 250 till 137. Like it lost nearly half of its gain. So it usually happens, I guess, there would be some profit booking that would be kicking it, but right now the stocks haven't moved up like crazily after the breakout point. I think so here the breakout point was around 88, so it went nearly 3x. I think so Tata Steel right now it has broken out at this particular level of 736. So currently it is only till 1200 levels. So I'm expecting Tata Steel to at least move till 1600, 1700 levels, and then it should look to correct. But on this thing that the cable had just mentioned, yes, there would be some big correction that would be happening in a commodity bull market. But till now, the correction has like the stocks have not reached that particular point.
Understood. Those are some phenomenal numbers that you've mentioned over here, Arjit.
Yeah, listen.
A small input from my end. Most of these stocks that we are discussing are widely researched, but one stock that typically goes under the radar is NMDC. Can we have something on NMDC, because it again falls in the same basket, although it's a PSU company? That is the reason why it is perhaps looked down upon
Yes.
and refrained from discussions. But NMDC, when it comes to offering value proposition, is on very similar lines.
Looking at the monthly chart, it is looking good. So I think so the trend has definitely changed. As you can see on the monthly chart, even a trend line breakout, it tells us that the trend has changed. But you can see this thing, it is in a series of consolidate. This is a rectangular series. As you can see, it is bounded by two particular levels. The levels are the price level of, I think so, around 203 to 205, and lower it is 72 to 73 levels. So unless and until, I think so, it will break out. But this particular level, that is a 200 to 205, it will take some time to break out this particular level. So NMDC, it is looking good on a monthly chart, but once it closes about the 205 levels, it is looking good. I have seen it on a daily chart as well. So as you can see over here, it has formed a long wick over here, which signifies that there is some pressure coming from once it reaches the 195 to 205 marks. So instead, don't look to go in once the stock breaks out. Usually what happens is for such particular stocks is that you should look to enter when it starts to correct down. So you have to like write down the support points of NMDC. So first support is around 150 level, which is way too lower. You have to go for at a lower time frame. And as you can see, there are multiple support levels of 165 and the latest support level is around 172 levels. So these are the particular levels which you should keep in mind. Although the momentum is lacking over here as it is in a consolidation phase, but once it crosses the 205 mark, it will be in the momentum and it will go up very quickly. But the important, I'll tell rather, once it corrects to 175 or 170 levels, look to buy at this particular levels, because it will give you a better risk reward ratio or better entry point.
Arshad,
Yeah.
can we check NMDC on RRG as well? And I had a query on RRG. Can we also look at base metals, or we'll be able to only look at index versus stocks
I
on the
think so. I have to add it. I have made a list of pharma stock. I'll start making it. NMDC, right?
NMDC, Tata Steel, JSW Steel.
Any other stock?
Hind Copper.
Nalco. What is the symbol of Nalco?
National Alum. NATIO, Nation Alum.
Okay, just a second. In Alum, right?
Nation Alum.
And okay, that's good. Or should I add some other stocks as well? Do you have anything in your mind?
These are probably the ones on our watch list also. Keval, you have anything on your mind that you to add? Hindalco, maybe. Hindalco.
Hindustan Zinc as well. I think so. We have seen the chart of Hindustan Zinc, and what was the last thing that you told? Hindalco, right? Hindalco. See the names. NMDC, Hindalco. Yeah, sure. So we are comparing against Nifty, right? Or the CNX metal. First, we'll compare it against Nifty. We'll look on a daily chart. I'll remove the other stocks. Laurus, Sequent. Look on the weekly chart. It will be, yeah. And Glenmark. So in the weekly chart, as you can see, the strongest stock is JSW Steel. It is heading towards the north side, which is usually the side which tells us that it is in the strongest momentum, as well as it is outperforming Nifty. Whereas the other two stocks which are doing the same thing is Tata Steel. I'll remove the other stocks so you'll have a clear view. So as you can see, JSW Steel and Tata Steel has completed it went from the leading to the weakening sector, and it has again reached the leading sector. So these are the two particular stocks which are looking good, very good on the RRG upfront. The other stock is, I think so, National Aluminium, NMDC. Yeah. So NMDC also, it never went in the weakening this thing in the weakening quadrant. So NMDC, yes, it is looking good on RRG chart. It is outperforming Nifty, but the only thing from my side is that don't look to add this stock on a breakout. Look to add the stock when it corrects. It comes near the support level. So there are two support levels that I have mentioned. One is near the 170 level, and one is near the 160 level. Apart from all these, I think so Hindalco is also, it is looking good, but it is going into the weakening sector. The Hind Copper is also going into the weakening sector. But it doesn't mean that if it is going in the weakening sector that it will not outperform. This is just the ranking of all the metal stock against each other. So the strongest in the metal sector right now is JSW and Tata Steel, and all others are going with the flow. NMDC is also looking good. So this I've just compared it against Nifty. We'll compare it against CNX metals as well. So the story here is still the same. I think so. JSW Steel is leading. Okay, this is SPX. CNX Metals. Yeah. So JSW Steel here as well, you can see it is when compared against the JSW Steel when compared against the CNX Metal benchmark. You can see JSW Steel is still in the leading quadrant and it is continue to showing good momentum. And after that, I think so NMDC is also going into the leading sector. Tata Steel has reversed from the weakening sector to the leading sector. So these are the three strongest stock. I think so JSW, NMDC, Tata Steel. Hind Copper should also reverse considering the copper prices has been going up. And I think so Hind Copper has also broken out from a VCP kind of a formation. So we'll cover Hind Copper and then we'll address the queries of the audience. So as you can see over here, it has broken out from a VCP pattern and it looks good. It looks good for 190 to 200 levels. So Hind Copper is also looking good. So let us address some queries of the participants.
Definitely. I'll help you with a couple of queries, okay? One of the questions is from Manish. After the superb rally in steel sector, should we not now focus on the raw material suppliers to steel manufacturers like iron ore and refractories?
Iron ore and refractories.
Basically, what he's asking is, should we look up for some catch-up rally in the raw material suppliers of these frontline stocks?
Definitely, if it is breaking out, I think so. IFGL is a raw materials product or what?
We can look at IFGL, Orient, Carborundum.
Okay, is this the same IFGL you are talking about?
IFGL refractories.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the one, right? So definitely, I think so. This is a very good thing. It has all. You can see it is. It has already broken out from its all-time high of 365 levels. It has broken out on good volumes. I'll look at the daily chart, and yes, it is on the verge of a breakout. It is looking good. The only issue over here is the lack of liquidity. It will move only. So it is not a trading stock, it is an investing stock, but yes, it is looking good. I think so. The target on a daily chart is around, I think so minimum is around 460 and 470 level once it breaks out the 420 mark. So IFG list is looking good on a daily as well as a weekly chart. And considering the fundamental side, if cable can like contribute, I don't have much idea of how it works.
Basically, refractory stocks move in line with the steel cycle. Any up move in the steel cycle is considered good for refractory stocks because these are typically needed for steel manufacturing and casting. And having said that, I completely agree with what Arshit says that most of these stocks are typically very slow moving, positional in nature, and these are moving on low volume. So one has to keep other factors in mind, not the fundamentals before taking any call on these stocks.
Basically, your horizon should be slightly more medium term or short term, and not probably a week or so for the stock to run, because it will run as Archit mentioned. When we see the breakout has happened with volumes, and then again there's a consolidation in low volumes. So basically, volumes will be the key driver here, and I think once you have volumes as confirmation, you can probably look to trade in refractory stocks. I think coal is also one of the things that we missed on discussing, because a lot of coal is used by these metal manufacturing companies. So I think there's one question on Coal India as well. And I'll also run through the other questions meanwhile. Achha, you can look at Coal India.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Yeah. The other questions meanwhile.
See, the only problem in the Coal India is that it is in a downtrend. I usually don't like fighting against the trend, but saying that, yeah, Coal India, it has a good support at this particular level of, I think so, 120 to 115 to 120, whereas the upside is limited to 150 to 160 levels. As you can see, it is in a serious downtrend. So you have to respect the trend, focus on the story as well. But if the charts are not showing the same thing, then it is better, because there are many other stocks, many other charts as well. So you should look to follow the trend instead of going for the news. I think so. Unless and until you see all these things on the chart, I won't look to go long. But yes, it has a good you can do swing trading over here. Swing traders can benefit from this kind of news, I think so. They should look to go long at 120 levels, but here the upside is capped till 160, 165. Unless and until that particular level is not broken out, I am not expecting it to outperforming the other metal stock.
Also, just to add one more point here is, I think Coal India and stocks like these are very seldom for trading, trading bets. If you're looking for a positional outlook, I think that is when you look to buy it at supports. Or if you're going to add it to your investment portfolio or something, I think that's when you can add at any price. But for now, I think looking at the chart, it is in a very sideway movement. We should wait for the lower end of the trading range, probably to add for some reversal gains. One more question from the chat box. I think it's an interesting question. It reads like, I just missed it. 1 second. Yeah. I understand that the shortage in metals across the globe is due to China cutting down on supplies. Don't you think once China restores the production for whatsoever reason, we will have this rally closed? I think Keval is the best person to answer this question.
That's a very interesting question, and the only phenomena I can correlate with is chemicals. I think China started cutting down production on chemicals in 2013, and it's been 8 years since now that they have not indicated any restarting of chemical plants. And in these 8 years, we have seen at least 5 to 10 multi-baggers coming out from the chemical space. And over the last 3 months itself, we've seen multi-baggers in chemical space in the F&O stocks. So going by history and going by the Chinese mentality, once they stick to something or once they make a word about something, they generally don't go back on their own words. That is evident from what they did with the chemical industry. They have been doing it consistently for the metal industry. It's not that they have not been doing it, but right now they've become very aggressive. And that's the reason it's been highlighted. They have constantly been guiding about pollution and pollution norms in the past as well. But if and when there is an indication about them restarting, there will be indicators well in advance which will enable us or allow us to understand what they are thinking. But for the time being, and going by history, it is very difficult for me to say, at least on my personal analysis, that China is going to let its factory open as early as we think.
Exactly. And I think one more thing that we need to understand is the problem with China and pollution is a big problem. We have multiple videos and we have a number of documentaries and all of that coverage that is happening. So I think if the government has taken a stand, definitely it's a communist country, and that is where governments are very, very powerful. So definitely, as far as the money which has flown in the metal stock, it is obviously the smart money has flown in and has driven the prices.
Sorry to cut you in over here. You're making a point. Please complete it. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm just trying to say that smart money has flown into the metal space and driven the rally. We may have corrections in here, but I think rally being closed is a big statement for us to make at this point in time. Is my general view. Keval, you can continue.
Just to add to what Darshan is saying over here, China, I think 2 or 3 weeks back has removed its import tax on steel. So this is a clear indication that they want steel to come into their country and they don't want to manufacture it at the cost of pollution. So,
exactly.
So once we get to know that they are sort of putting in the import ban or putting in the import taxes and incentivizing local production or opening up factories, that could be one indication. But as of now, looking at all the data points and the history when it comes to chemicals, considering it was a leader in chemicals or is still a leader in chemicals, I think it will be only prudent of me on my analysis to say that as of now, that doesn't seem the case.
Exactly. And I think one need to understand here is that people have a very wrong notion about the cycle's turning. I think when cycles turn, commodity cycle, as we saw data point that it's the 7th cycle in 200 years, which signifies that the cycles are not short-lived, or they're not a phenomena for which will last for 3-4 months, 5 months. It's going to be at least a good couple of years, and definitely markets are forward-looking, and they'll discount most of the good news before well ahead of time. But I think for a good 6 months, at least next couple of quarters, as the companies keep posting good numbers. And as I mentioned, I think smart money has flown in, which is well analyzed and which is well thought of. So we need not worry when we're looking at data points, and we should not worry in terms of investing our capital beyond a certain point, in terms of these beyond control thoughts that, if China opens up, how will it indications? The smart money which is pumped in the money will start dumping, and that is when we will get indications that this is a time to take an exit. On that lines, I think there was one question which was a prominent question, and I think it's a very, very relevant question.
I just want to add one point. See, the first thing that technical analysis usually tells us that the trends don't change overnight. So once from a downtrend, it has goes to an uptrend, it doesn't change overnight. It will move for years and months to come. So there might be some corrections over here, but to think that the trend would reverse completely, that is not going to happen. So just mark your support zones. Don't think of the noise, just focus on the charts. That usually I focus on my charts. That helps me to make my decisions better.
Exactly. And I think that on that line only, there's a question that at what point in the steel sector and the steel stocks in particular should we look to enter, because now started chasing it. So there's a question which is very relevant to our discussion: at what price should we look to enter the metal, in particular steel stock? And I think when somebody talks about steel, we've seen on the charts JSW, Tata Steel are probably looking the best. We can look at something like a Jindal Steel, which has just, I think, started looking good. So I think, Archit, if you can help the audience with these 2-3 stocks and what level we can look to enter.
See, currently all these steel stocks have momentum. They are crossing their resistance level. So you can just plot the support and the resistance levels, at which levels they are going to find resistance. So as you can see, I'm plotting the monthly resistance of the Jindal Steel. So there is a small resistance at 500 levels. So once it crosses that 500 levels, the ultimate target of Jindal Steel should be around 600 levels, 630 levels. But these are the monthly charts. They won't help us in looking for an entry. But on the daily chart, you have to just plot a moving average, and you have to just see like which moving average it usually respects. So it would, I think so, the 20-day moving average, whenever it comes near the 20-day moving average, it looks to reverse from that particular level. And combining with the price action theory, these are all positional, I think so, swing trading opportunities. So keep in mind. So I think so for Jindal Steel, it has broken out with a gap. So this particular level of 460 is a good level to enter Jindal Steel, considering the targets are 500 and 600 levels. So for a short-term time frame, these are the particular levels you should look to add. Whereas on a weekly chart, the support levels the support is quite low. It is around, I think it is around 400 levels. So it is quite far. I'm not expecting it to retrace that much. But if it comes near 460, 455 level, it is a good level to add in Jindal and enjoy the momentum which is going on right now. I think so many people have asked about SAIL as well. I think so we have discussed SAIL, I think so over the last particular...
SAIL, personally, I was very bullish. Archit was bullish. I think most of the people on our panel were bullish on SAIL since, I think, 75, 77 levels. I think that's when the first breakout had come, in my view. I think that's about 70, 75 ke aspas. We were very, very bullish on SAIL. but we couldn't ride it with our clients because of its constant behavior of going into an F1 or ban. I think that's where we probably were not able to enjoy a rally in SAIL, but I think we covered it with holding, I think, Tata Steel and JSW Steel. So we have not regretted it, but yes, definitely from a portfolio perspective, those who had entered on the positional, I think Archit's newsletter had also covered SAIL, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
This stock has actually doubled in a span of good 2 months, 2.5 months, from 75 to almost now 145.
So this is how momentum usually works. Like people are usually afraid to go long at a new high. But as you can see, like it went from 32 till 75. Once it crossed that resistance, it went from 75 to 144. It won't give you a chance to enter. If you keep looking like यार 2 महीने पहले ये 35 पे था, इसको this is called as an anchoring bias. You don't have to anchor according to the levels that were seen like a few weeks ago or a few years ago. So you have to keep on updating it. Once a particular resistance level is crossed, it looks good, and still on the monthly chart it is looking good. I am seeing a target of 199 200 at this particular level. It will look to correct, or it will look to retest its particular I think so the breakout level is around 100 right now. So I'm very bullish on SAIL, but it is on a positional basis.
And what happens is once you miss out on some rally, and once that fear of missing out comes in and you look to enter at obnoxiously higher levels, I think the risk reward is then not in your favor. So the best way to probably trade any sector or any cyclicality or any sectoral rotation is probably to identify it at an early point of time and go in. As Archit mentioned, you should not look at the historical prices, specifically when the price action confirms that there's something big happening here. I think Hindalco is one other example. I think we know of a couple of marquee investors who've held Hindalco in March, when it corrected all the way to I think 100. I think that's what we had seen on Hindalco in March, below 100 level.
Yeah. It was it made a low of 84.
Yes.
So I personally, I and Keval personally know someone who was holding a big quantity, holding it since years. So he's a long-term investor, so definitely he is not going to be he never wanted to sell it. He is not at these levels also. He's not looking to book. But I think from an investor's perspective or a swing trader's perspective, if you would have looked at the lows of March, say in the month of December, you would have definitely missed out the 150 points rally which has come post that breakout at 200. I think almost 200 points rally.
Yeah.
Now at 400, it's the mass and the retail which everybody gets bullish. So I think that's one of the main reasons to have such conversations is we need to understand that to trade a cycle or a sector, one of the most important requirement or prerequisite is to identify a trend reversal or a change in fundamentals or a change on technicals early, and to get in before everybody else has started becoming bullish. I think at 140, people will tell you 200 on SAIL, but at 75, people will probably have a very short cycle vision of 80, 85, 90. So I think Archit is one of the better persons when it comes to riding a stock. We've seen that in all the cash stocks that you do, and beach mein we will just trade. We will not look to book up positional trades. So one thing that we need to learn from this particular session and the sessions that we keep doing is that we need to know how to ride a particular rally. So abhi, I think when the question is steals mein when to enter, I think Archit has rightly mentioned, now look for some support where we need to enter, because now the risk reward, I particularly feel that entering now the risk reward, yes, reward might not be that favorable.
There is one more stock in my radar, I guess. It is Sunflag Iron Ore.
That's also one of the queries in the chat box. Sunflag Iron.
So as you can see, the Sunflag Iron, I think so, it is breaking out. I'll look to draw a channel if I can. Yes. Just a second. This is a channel kind of a formation. You can see a double bottom pattern over here. This is a double bottom pattern and it has broken out. And the target was around, I think so, 27, 28 points. So 27, 28 points from 50 is around 78. So it will face resistance around the 100 level mark. It will find some difficulty as this is a trend line resistance, as well as there is a prior, I think so, price history. So Sunflag Iron on a monthly chart, it is it will face resistance. On a daily chart, it has broken out. So the entry levels for this particular stock on Sunflag Iron is like if it dips till 80 level, it is looking good positionally. You can place your stop loss below 70 levels for a target of 100. So Sunflag Iron is one of the stock. This is a proxy play. One can look to ride this particular stock. You can see a cup formation as well. So once a cup has been formed near 100 levels, it will look to form a small contraction or a cup or a handle type formation, and then it will look to break out. But don't enter this stock at a breakout level of 100 because it is quite extended. Look to enter the stock when it retraces. So that will give you a better entry point. But this is one of the stock. You can look at the volumes as well. The volumes have been humongous among the last past couple of 2 weeks. So this is a good indication that this stock can give us quick returns in a short term time frame. And as this is a cash stock as well, and no one usually keeps an eye on such stocks. So this is one of the stock which is good, looking good.
And to add to Archit's point, I think Bimal today is not with us, but me and Bimal, we keep having such discussions. And like to just quickly add, nothing about any particular stock in general, but I think one needs to understand is जो ये बड़े volumes कर रहा है, whoever is buying this, huge quantities, he is not a person who is entering for a 5, 8, 10, 15% gain over a period of 2-3 days. Generally, these are institutions who are playing on a theme, playing on a sector, playing on some high conviction, and they are looking to enter positionally. And they're looking to ride it almost till the end of the cycle. So generally, whoever will enter at this point in time in these stocks are going to be people with deep pockets. So when we look to chase them, I think that is when a lot of blunders happen, and we will be entering with a shorter time frame in our mind, and वो अपना stop loss लेके जाएगा. So I think what Archit mentions here is when we are looking to enter stocks which have rallied a lot, which are in momentum, don't look to chase them. Wait for a retracement. Look for an entry where the bigger players have shrunk the volumes and the price has come down to take the stop losses of all the weak hands. And one more important thing, as I always keep mentioning, that whenever there is going to be consensus bullishness, there is going to be dumping of stock, taking of SL, stop loss hunting, taking out the weak hands. So ये सब चीज market में होते रहेंगे. When you enter sectors, when you are looking to add stocks where you are bullish on a particular theme or a thesis or a logic, keep the time frame thoda sa flexible. Keep a larger time frame. Look to pyramid, add at support, add at breakout, but look to pyramid if you're particularly holding it with a conviction to play out a particular thesis or a story or a logic is one thing from my side. And Nalco also, I think Nalco has moved. We've been bullish in Nalco since 56, 57 levels. It has taken our stop loss also once, and now we are seeing 77, 78 was probably what I saw on Friday. That's another stock which is in demand.
Yeah. So usually what we do is we do a sector analysis and then we select the strongest stock. So as you can see, Nalco also, it has broken out from its resistance of 70, 75. And I am expecting it to move till at least around, I think so, 85 to 100 levels. considering the aluminium also has broken out, if I am not wrong, Darshan.
Yeah,
Right?
I think
Aluminium.
aluminum is probably the next base metal on our radar. Given how steel and copper has run, I think aluminium should have a catch up soon. And I think that is where Nalco has moved the way it moved on Friday.
Yes, and as you can see, it is in a steady uptrend. It goes up, it goes down. Like so, look to add the stocks when it is retracing. It will give you a better entry point. Instead of like if you are not comfortable catching the breakout levels, look for the support level. So as you can see, the support level for Nalco is around 70 levels. So even if the metal corrects during the next few weeks, say, if it comes near the support level, you should have that conviction to add when the stock is falling down. At that time, you shouldn't be like or ruk jata ho or niche aega. You are going to miss out if you don't have the particular conviction. And conviction, how conviction is built? The conviction is built like you have to do a thorough analysis. You have to do you have to keep faith in your analysis, and that is how you get into stocks at a better entry point.
And just to add to the chart, I think if you see in a stock which is in a steady uptrend, generally, as we say, the simple theory of the Dow theory, which has a higher high, higher low, is being respected. I think every time it retraces, अगर ₹4 का correction आएगा वो stock में, so you will see a 8-point rally succeeding it. So I think what we have done personally, just giving some insights in how we have traded these stocks, is we know that these are looking extended at this point in time. Having said that, on a positional outlook, we are bullish on both Tata Steel and Nalco. We've entered June contracts and not May contracts because we expect that in the month of May, given how metals are performed, there might be some correction. If we are able to get out on momentum, we'll probably get the chance to exit even the June contracts in the month of May itself. But agar wo correct hua, that is where we'll look to add more positions. So now we've entered probably 30-40% of what we would look to add. If it corrects, that is probably going to be the best point where we will look to add more positions. For people who never had a position in the first place, for people who've had positions in stocks like Tata Steel, etc., from 700, 750 levels, these are levels definitely we will consider profit booking. But as long as the momentum is there, we will like to ride it. So that is how probably a positional trader should have an outlook that jahan pe momentum hai, don't give in to your profits easily and early. ₹4 का profit देके आप उसको दो मत दो, because it's a general basic human tendency that in losses we stand. So we would like to educate people that when you are seeing an uptrend, you see a dip, don't give in to that dip, don't give in to that stop loss hunting, don't give in to that weak hands taking out by the larger investors. You should back your conviction and always invest in tranches so that you will have money to buy on breakouts, you will have money to buy at supports. But play your story, play your logic till the very end and respect the stop loss. अगर वो logic का stop loss hit हो गया तो वो hit हो गया. If JSW का stop loss is 400, we will look to add it at multiple supports. But the day it closes below 400, that is where the view is invalidated by the market and we will look to exit. Jindal Steel rather. So I think those were the few points that I just wanted to add so that people get some insight into how to manage psychology when trading momentum stocks. Archit, I think you can take over now.
Yeah, one another thing that I've heard in my query or the chat box is that ये RSI इतना heated लग रहा है, इतना overbought पे है. So should we look to sell the stocks? So this is usually a wrong theory. When this momentum and the strongest stocks move, RSI usually is around 80 to 90 levels, and it can stay at that particular levels for a long period of time. So just because कोई स्टॉक का RSI 80 या 90 आ गया, you have to look the stock, you will miss out the rally. And also the next important thing is ये RSI indicators, oscillators, जितने भी other technical studies है, these are secondary signals. And always price is a primary signal. अगर price पे breakdown नहीं हो रहा है, you should not look to exit a particular stock. That is my theory. And price पे breakdown कैसे, अगर stock higher high higher lows बना रहा है, अगर कोई लो मतलब जो रेजिस्टेंस है वो सपोर्ट बना वो तोड़ दिया, देन यू कैन से कि अभी इसका ट्रेंड चेंज हो गया, पर unless and until it doesn't do that, I think so the price action is still strong. So as you can see over here, this is the 2 hourly chart of Tata Steel. So you can see over here, every higher low is being respected, like the resistance, it becomes a support and then it moves up. So this is a particular like this is a price strength of the price, you can say. So agar ye retrace hua aur niche aaya 1100 level 1100 level tak, and it sustains that particular level, then it means that the uptrend is still strong. But just because the RSI is near the 80 levels, I don't think so it is a like you should look to exit a particular stock. Are we covering other stocks as well? I think so.
I just
Yeah.
had one larger question, because we are talking about commodities over here. Oil does form a part of the commodity pack. So what is the overall view on oil? Because we have some oil related stocks in our current index composition also. Not in the index, but in the commodity pack.
Look, I check the crude oil chart. Okay. Considering the weekly chart of oil, I guess it is facing resistance near the 5,000 mark on, this is the MCX, I guess. So these are the two ranges for oil currently. I don't know how it works, the if oil goes up and what is the implications, but yes, so it has formed an inverse head and shoulders pattern. You can see a HNS continuation pattern, but the two important levels for the crude oil is that the support is near 4,000 and the resistance is near 5,000. And once that is like crossed, I think so oil would be in the momentum. Anyone?
Can you see crude oil on in dollar terms?
Brent crude, right? This one. Is this chart correct? I think so. It is. So it is the chart pattern is still the same.
I think 65 to $70 is probably the upper end of the range for crude, in my personal view. At $65-$70, I'll tell you how my basic understanding of this. I think Keval is the right person to correct me if I'm wrong. But my understanding is when crude generally goes up, I think that's what directly results into inflation. And as inflation goes, the demand goes down, and that is how probably these things work. Uh, from my limited understanding and from what I've heard from few veterans is dollar at 60-70, I think still it will not hamper the bull run. It will probably dent it if it goes more up, but I think it will not hamper it in a big time unless we start trading above $70 is my understanding.
My point of view for asking a general range on crude oil was keeping in mind two stocks, one being Vedanta and one being BPCL. So that was the only thesis why I asked about crude oil.
I think the Vedanta is into everything, I guess, right? The metals as okay, it is
Yes,
in
but
crude oil as well, or what?
no, I was looking at it as a forward integration. If at all, and hypothetically, I repeat hypothetically, if Vedanta is lucky enough to get BPCL, if it is
Okay.
enough.
I think the Vedanta is looking good, but right now, like, yeah, it can definitely go till I think so 340, 350 marks. It is looking good. But BPCL is a very slow moving stock, I guess. So considering the news that if Vedanta takes over BPCL, that is the news, right?
It's hypothetical. It's just
Okay.
on data
On
analysis.
data and analysis. Yeah,
It's completely hypothetical.
understood. Are there any queries or stocks? I think so. Methane oils is one of the stocks which is looking
We'll do
good.
one thing. We have some stocks queries also individually. We will take 10 stocks. I'll just take 10 random stocks from the chat box. and you can look at them. We've seen a lot of stocks, and I think we've seen frontline stocks. We will look at some mid cap, small cap stocks also, which are related to the metal sector, directly or indirectly.
Fine.
And probably we can take this and we can probably end the session covering these stocks, because a lot of people have asked a lot of stocks. So we will start with some YouTube comments. One is Man Aluminium. Can you look at Man Aluminium?
Can you tell me the ticker name? MAAN?
AAN.
Yes.
Aluminium.
Found. As you can see, it is already in my radar. So yes, it is looking good, I guess. Considering it has formed a cup and handle pattern, I guess. This is the cup formation. Although the cup is very deep. And yeah. So there are two things that come into mind. It is breaking out, but the breakout level is 200 levels. So the 200 levels, it needs to be closed about this particular level. I won't enter this particular stock once it crosses the 200 level. I wait for it to close about 200 levels, and once it does that, it is looking good. Considering the aluminium's charts are strong, I guess it is looking good. Whereas if you want a better entry point, if it corrects near the 170 mark, you should look to enter, because this was a good resistance zone. It has broken out and it sustained about 170 levels. So I guess the two entry points over here is that it should be added near 170, 175 levels, or you should wait for it to close above the 200 mark.
The next one is Graphite and HG. I think these two we can always take simultaneously.
Yes. So as you can see over here, graphite has already, the trend has changed, and it is finding some difficulty to cross this particular level. So why this thing happens is that earlier it was a support zone. So here are the trap buyers, and that is why the buyers are facing difficulty to move up. But once this particular level of 800 is crossed in terms of graphite, I guess we might see 1100 levels very soon. So a particular level for graphite is that it should cross the 800 level mark. On a daily chart as well, you can see a ascending triangle formation. So it could break out anytime, but for a momentum purpose, I guess once it crosses the 800 mark, it would be unstoppable till 1100 levels. You can see a cup and a handle formation as well. If I just go on a lower time frame, so this is a cup. The volumes are decreasing, which is a good sign, because it usually tells that the suppliers are being soaked in. You can see another small contraction, I guess, in the coming 2 days, or it can break out tomorrow itself as well. So the important thing over here is it will be in momentum once it crosses the 1100 marks, but it is still, you can still look to go long in this particular stock, as the metal sectors are going up and it hasn't performed with the metals. So it can go up anytime soon. After covering graphite, the next was HEG. We'll go to the weekly chart first. So as you can see over here as well, it is facing some difficulty. It ran up beautifully from 1500 levels to 2500 levels, and it is finding some difficulty to cross this particular level. So unless and until it crosses 2500 level, it won't be in momentum. But I think so on a daily time frame, you can see again this is it is consolidating, you can say. So if it crosses this particular level of 2400 or 2450 on good volumes, as you can see the volumes, it should be humongous like this thing, these bars. So if the volume is above average, if you see the volume is above average at any point of the day and the price is supporting the volume action, then it probably says that it would be looking to break out. But on a larger time frame, I see the targets are much higher. The targets are at least near 3500 levels.
Correct. And I think the volumes that the breakout candle just indicated that, these stocks are probably in for a good run now. I think it's due. They've corrected enough in the last few years, consolidated as well. And I think it's about time that, even the environment is conducive for these stocks to perform, both HEG and graphite.
I think so. It is just testing the patience of the
It is
investors.
definitely. I think anybody with a positional outlook can hold on to these and I think can add on dips. There's nothing to worry about it. Just keep adding, and sooner or later the price will definitely support the fundamental view and the technical view.
As well as reward you for the patience.
And these stocks in particular, when they move big. So definitely, I think these two are in. We are having it in our portfolios also. Just a disclaimer. So we are bullish on both graphite and HEG. Next one, I think Archit, it's one of your favorite stocks, Midhani. Somebody has asked Midhani.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite stock a few years ago. So currently it is consolidating. You can see a descending triangle formation. You can, but there is a good support at 170, 175 levels, whereas the resistance is near one resistance is around 220 levels, and the next resistance is around 260 levels. So I would wait, in this particular stock to cross this 240 marks. I would look to go long above 240 marks, because that it is at that point that it will start moving in a 10%, 20% fashion. But on a positional outlook, if it comes and corrects near this 174 marks, it would be held, and it is a good entry point. But for a momentum perspective, for a trader's perspective, I would look to go long once it crosses the 240 mark.
Correct. Sterlite Copper, can we look into Sterlite Copper? My dad has posted this query. I don't know why.
Sterlite. Can you tell me the ticker name or the spelling?
I'm checking. 1 second. Let's skip it.
Yeah.
The next one.
Is it Sterlite Technologies?
I think so. It should be Sterlite Technology, but I don't think that's relevant to our discussion on this particular.
The next one.
Next one, we've covered Nalco, we've covered Vedanta also. I think we've covered. We haven't looked into Orient. Can we look at Orient?
Yes.
Orient
Refractories, right?
Correct.
Okay, it has given a monthly breakout at 270 levels. Looks good. It has broken out from a HNS continuation pattern as well. So on a monthly time frame, it has turned into an. I think so I'll just draw it out for viewers to see. This is the head. This is the right shoulder. It broke out on good volumes, so that is a good sign. I think so. The pattern target should be around 150 points from 260 levels. So that comes around 410 levels on a monthly chart. We look at the daily chart. And as you can see, it moves on good volume only. There is a less volume action. Like when it moves on a good volume. So this could be an investing stock, I guess. But any retest to this particular level of 270, 275 level is a definite buy. Whereas the target should be around 400 levels, minimum around 400 levels. The only thing that I'm concerned over here is the long wicks that you can see over here. So definitely don't look to buy this stock on the breakout levels, because it has a tendency to trap the buyers, the momentum traders. So look to buy on the dips. The first dip would be around 300. Look to buy 50% quantity at 300. If it sustains, add another 50%, or else look to buy on the retest of 275 levels.
Perfect. I think we have Prakash also who has joined us.
Okay.
Prakash is also a CA. Prakash, you'd like to add some of your comments or views regarding the metal stocks or the metal sector and the bull run that we had?
Yeah, hi Darshan. I think we should look at some other metals other than steel now. I think Hindustan Zinc looks very good. If you can open the chart of Hindustan Zinc.
Yes, it is looking good, I guess. The weekly chart is good. It has a good overhead. I think so. The all-time high is near 345 levels. We look at the
And
daily. Yeah.
yeah, I
Sorry.
think in the daily chart, it looks bullish about 317. The first resistance comes at around 335, 340, and there's a ascending channel in which this stock is into, and the upper ceiling of the ascending channel comes to around 385, 390. So
This is around. You're looking at a weekly time frame for the ascending channel or a daily time frame.
no, the daily time frame.
Okay. Just try to draw it. This. Okay, fine. Yeah. Yes, definitely. It should be like once it crosses the 345 mark, I guess it would be in momentum, and you can see like a good consolidation. And yes, it is ripe for a breakout, I guess. The zinc futures are also looking good. And as you can see, I think so. I can see a HNS continuation pattern over here as well. So it is just you have to wait for a breakout to happen, have your conviction into it, and once the level of 345 is broken out, as you can see in many other stocks, after a particular level of resistance is crossed, it usually moves in a straight manner, like it will move 50 100 points in a go. So definitely you should keep these stocks in mind. I think so they have not contributed in the metals rally till now, but it will be, I guess so.
Correct. Anything else you would like to add, Prakash? Then we can.
I think so. We have covered the Ashapura mine in the webinar, I guess. So the important level, as I have told in Ashapura webinar, was like it has to cross the 170 mark. So why I was talking about the 170 mark is that this was the resistance. This was the particular support for Ashapura mine. So it will become a resistance. And as you can see, it is forming a this is a spinning top. You can see that this is a spinning top kind of a formation, which usually says that it is losing the strength. The buyers are losing the strength, but considering that if it corrects near the 130 mark, it is the best level to enter this particular stock on a weekly time frame. We'll look at the daily time frame as well, and as you can see, we'll just draw the Fibonacci from this particular impulse here, and you can see near 140 mark is the support level on the Fibonacci as well. So just wait for it to come near the 130 to 140 marks, and once that particular level is has arrived, then it is looking good for 175 and definite. And after that, I guess look at the monthly chart, then definitely around 250 levels. So these are the two important levels for Ashapura mine. The next one, Darshan.
Prakash Industries.
So it has broken out from an inverse head and shoulder pattern. It is facing resistance. It will face resistance near the 100 mark. So again over here, the only problem is the overhead supply. I don't like the overhead supply too much. There is too much overhead supply on the monthly chart. So the upside is quite limited till 130 levels. So unless and until it corrects, look for a better entry point. So the entry point should be around 7. It is quite down, I guess, 72. But on a daily chart, it is looking good. So the upside is, anyways, the upside is limited to 100 in this particular stock. That is 10 points from here. Whereas if you want a better entry point for short term, it is near 83, 84 marks. So these are the two particular levels you should look to.
Can we look at MOIL as well? MOIL.
You're looking at the last 2 or 3 stocks, I guess. Then
yeah, we are looking at the last 2-3 stocks. Keval, is it we've generally observed that after we see a surge in metal stocks in particular steel, we often see the power sector actually catching up. So what are your views on power as a sector? Are you bullish on it? Do you have some of the stocks on your radar? Or we can probably look at those as well.
I've had a very limited reading on the power space as of now, so I don't think I can comment much in detail. But very generically and very uh, at a very basic level, two stocks that catch my eye are Tata Power and BHEL.
Tata Power and the other one?
BHEL.
BHEL.
Yeah.
BHEL gave a breakout just the other day. I think Tata
Yeah.
Power भी चला था. I think Adani Power का result भी काफी अच्छा आया था.
मेरे radar में I have personally taken a position in R Power, which is the least. But as you can see on my technical charts, I've gone against my philosophy of like I don't usually invest in stocks which are in a downtrend, but as you can see, there was an inverse head and shoulder pattern, and it has given a good breakout. So I'm expecting like I won't ride this particular stock, but if the levels of 8.6 to 9 level comes, I'll look to book out, and I think so it was a good opportunity to add this particular stock. This is just a trading bet from my side, and as you can see on a weekly chart also, it has given a this thing flag type breakout. So till 9 it can go up. This is my thesis, but definitely don't buy R Power just for the sake of it. The next one is
We can look at JSW Energy. JSW Energy and Tata Power we can look at, because I think we traded Tata Power just in the last week.
seems like a channel breakout on JSW Energy. The only issue is like it is looking a bit extended, and I'm expecting it to like face resistance in this particular zone. It should face resistance from 125 to 136 mark. The support levels should be around 95 to 96. This is just a rough reading. I'll look at the monthly chart as well. And yes, so around look to add the stock on dips instead of going on momentum. The upside is capped right now till 135 levels, and look to add on a support level of 105 to 100 to 105. I think so Adani Power is better in terms of the energy sector. As you can see, it has broken out from big consolidation of it had a good resistance at 70 to 75 levels, and it is facing some resistance near the 105 mark. So once it crosses the 105 to 110 mark, I think so the Adani stocks, as you know, they move in a very quick manner. So you can see a target of 150, at least around a target of 150. Whereas if it comes near the 70 levels, it is like the best entry point to enter into the power sector as well as into this particular stock.
We can look at MOIL, MOIL.
As you can see, MOIL is forming an ascending triangle reversal pattern. So it has a resistance at around 185 to 190 levels, and 200 being a round number. It will definitely be in. It definitely have some difficulty crossing this particular mark. So better you can look to enter over here as well, the 170 levels, but it has a good resistance at 200 levels. So if you add at 170, the targets would be around 200, and once it crosses and closes about 200, then it is looking good for a good 250 300 mark.
We can, I think, just last couple of stocks, I think, to wrap the session. One would be Methan Alloy. We've not checked Methan Alloy, right?
Yeah, we haven't.
Methan Alloy and Tata Steel BSL. I think this is one of the stock which keeps popping up on multiple occasions.
I think so. Methan Alloys has broken out already. it is looking good. Any retest to this particular level of 700 is a definite buy for Methanolyze, whereas the target's minimum for this particular stock is 1000 level. It has formed a base, I guess. It is forming a cup formation right now, and it is looking good. So this is a cup formation. It will come to retest the 700 marks. Once it does that, it will again move to 1000. It will then form a. It will then either form a handle part or it will move up in a straight manner. And the last stock was Darshan.
Tata Steel BSL.
Okay, already in my watch list. So as you can see, it is a double bottom formation. This kind of formation I have seen in EKC as well. So this stock is looking good. You have to be like you have to work this stock without a SL, I guess, because it has quite extended from 18 to 100 levels. So the targets for Tata Steel BSL on a monthly chart is around 270, 280. That is quite, it is looking quite unrealistic. But as you can see, the chart formation is good. If it retraces, I am not expecting it to retrace it much, but if it comes near like the 75 mark, it is looking good. But if it crosses the, I think so, it is a buy. If you want to ride the momentum, you could ride the momentum by adding this particular stock at CMP, and then you have to look whether the stock is moving in the right manner or not. But the long-term target for this particular stock is at least around 200, 250, and 300. These are the three particular targets that I am looking for on a monthly basis.
I think if you want in Tata Steel BSL, if you're going long, then you can look at above 100, which is a mental block sort of thing. Plus on the plus the resistance that you've drawn.
Yeah, the only problem is that I think so. It was on circuit on Friday and it will open gap up. So I think so. If the 100 level is sustained, then it is looking good. You have to wait for some time, but it is like it is in moment. The metals are in momentum, so it won't give you a chance to enter at a good risk where the risk and the reward is quite favorable. You have to go in and you have to trust your like charts and the instinct of yours.
There's some merger news also in Tata Steel BSL. Tata Steel के साथ merge होने वाला है ना?
Yes, right, right.
So probably on that news also, there's a good chance that we'll move up very quick before the final merger, before the final details of the merger.
Just one thing, can you, since you were talking about power, can you see the BSE power index? I think on daily it's close to a breakout. Just write power, I think you'll get it. Yeah, right there.
Daily it is looking for a breakout, I guess it is trading near its resistance zone. I'll look at the monthly chart first. So yes, it is forming the same pattern formation of Adani Power, I guess. So this is a long consolidation, and yes, it can give us good momentum. I think so. The power index could definitely go till 3000 levels. Currently, it is at 2500 levels, and on a week, I think so. The weekly candle time pattern formation is also good. So it can give a breakout. I think so. The breakout level is 2600 levels. So it is looking good as well. It is in a good uptrend as well, as you can see a series of higher high and higher lows.
Perfect. Any other stocks on your radar? Can we look at PFC REC also since we are discussing power?
PFC. I think the moment it is looking good. Definitely, it is looking good, but it has a good. This gap will become the resistance for PFC. The gap of I think so 113 to 115. Once it crosses that 115 mark, I guess it can go till 120, 125. These are slow moving stocks, I guess. Less volatility is involved over here. And
Correct.
the next stock was RFC.
REC, Rural Electrical Corporation.
Identical chart, I guess. So over here, the the levels would be 135, and once it crosses that 135 mark, you can see the upside is limited to 145 levels. 145 will act as a good resistance zone for REC. I think so. Considering that, let's end the session. And like we have covered most of the metal sectors as well as the metal stocks, and we looked at the
We've covered power also. We've covered base metals as, from a commodity front as well. I think there are 2-3 people who've joined us today. Mithul has joined us. Prakash has joined us. Do you all have anything to add? Otherwise, we can probably wind up the session. Pranav, you have anything to add? Please feel free.
Yeah, if you want to share the screen as well, like.
Just that, I mean, not related to metal. So I think one thing that Prakash mentioned, which I was also looking at, was that though because steel has run up so much, I'm also trying to find other metal commodities, and so I think this entire session was very helpful in finding the zinc breakout and the Hindustan Zinc and the copper breakout and Hindalco and such. So I think it was a good session overall.
Hey guys, I would like to share my screen for Hindustan Zinc.
Just a second. Can you try sharing it right now? I have to.
No, I'm not able to.
Just a second then. Wait. Can you make Pranav the host or the co-host?
No, I think that was Prakash.
Yeah, Prakash, you can share the screen right now. I have changed the settings. Try sharing it right now.
Yeah, so first we see the monthly chart. Now there's a trend line. The upper ceiling of the trend line comes to around say 530. That might be a very long-term target. But once we see the daily chart, now this is the channel I was talking about. Yeah, this was the channel I was talking about right from March 2020 to till now, and there's a symmetrical triangle formation over here, and the breakout should be at around 317, 318 levels, and I at least see it hitting the upper ceiling of the channel. So it can be a good positional trade from right from 320 to 360, 370.
Hindustan Zinc. Yeah, I think we've discussed zinc in one of our previous webinars also, where it was looking good for a breakout, and it is spent good 1.5 week again at the resistance. So the breakout would definitely be a stronger one, seeing how the base metals are rallying. Anything other than Hindustan Zinc you would like to add, Prakash?
I think we've already seen the other stocks, like we have seen Hind, Copper, JSW Steel, Tata Steel, and all those.
Correct. We've seen most of the stocks, I think. So I think for the metals as a sector that this discussion was relevant, I think we've covered most of the stocks. We've seen refactories, we've seen catch-up rallies also, which are possible, and I think we've discussed power also, which generally, in my limited reading so far, post the metal cycle, I think the power cycle is what catches up. So I think we can end the session unless any other member has any other points to add. I think
so. The most important thing was the RRG chart of metal. It is still looking strong. So like be in momentum, try the momentum, and like enter properly. Don't just enter on our views. I think so. You should have a conviction attached to it. Then only you can able to enjoy that particular ride. So it was a good session, I guess. And let's end it. If any
member has anything to add, please feel free. We can probably end it in another 5 minutes. Keval, you have anything to add?
I don't have anything to add as such. I just concur with Archit. where he says that each person needs to do their own study and own diligence, because at the end of the day, it is your own research that counts and your own conviction that matters. The only purpose of, at least I believe, the only purpose of this forum is to be free about your thoughts and sort of uh, add as much knowledge as you can possibly do as a part of an investor education initiative.
Absolutely. I think one of our premium members had one query which is not relevant to this discussion, but we can still look to cover it and end the session on that note. Can you just check IRCON if anybody is able to share the screen? Archit or Prakash,
I'll do it.
IRCON.
Weekly time frame, it is on a sideways movement, so I'm not expecting much momentum out of this particular stock. Can you hear me properly? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you properly.
So it is in a sideways movement for now. It has a good support at, I think so the support should be, yeah, so the support is around 80-82 levels. It is forming a bullish pennant. It is forming a pennant pattern. You cannot call it as a bullish pennant pattern, but it is forming a pennant or a symmetrical triangle formation. Whereas you have to keep two levels in mind. The first level is of 95 levels. So once it crosses the 95 level, it would be in momentum. Whereas the next level is that it would find support around 82 levels. So for a short term perspective, it is in a sideways movement. So I'm not expecting much volatility around this corner. So you can be invested in it, but if you are looking for momentum, I'm not seeing it to move in the next couple of weeks.
So the broad-based reason to cover this was probably to give a small understanding that a lot of the times when the metals are doing good, basically the consumers, there's a good possibility that when the manufacturers are doing well, the end consumer is going to face the brunt of the higher prices. And I think IRCON is into construction space also for railways, I believe. So they may have a surge in their raw material prices, which will go on with the COVID situation and probably the lack of demand or something like that, and may affect their operational margins. So while we remain bullish on steel and metals and the other base metals as commodities, we need to consider that a lot of the raw material prices that have hiked up, and which is causing the operational margins of these steel manufacturing companies and zinc manufacturing companies and all these base metal companies will probably have a negative correlation with the stock prices of a lot of consumers, consuming space. So with that note, I think that was one of the reasons why I wanted Archit to cover IRCON. So while metals are bullish, we can probably focus on the sector which is in focus, and as the demand, as the prices becomes a little normalized, we can look.
I guess the voice of Darshan is not coming properly. So thank you everyone for joining in the session. I think the Darshan is back.
Yeah, I got a call. I think that's why then.
Okay.
So I think we can wrap the session. You all are able to hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, we can wrap this session on metals today, and we can probably look for the next session over the next weekend with another sector which probably would be leading by then. But thank you very much, all of you all, for listening to us. Thank you all the members for joining and giving your valuable feedback and valuable inputs and your time, most importantly. Thanks a lot. With that note, I think we can end this session.
Thank you everyone for joining in.
Thanks a lot. Thanks, Keval. Thanks, Pranav. Thanks, Prakash.
Thanks, Darshan.
Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Have a good